The discovery, the crimson sand of Kepler 442b, stretched endlessly before Captain Alina Rodriguez as she adjusted the frequency scanner on her wrist display. Static crackled through her helmet comm system, punctuated by something that shouldn't exist on this barren world. A rhythmic pulse, almost musical, emanating from somewhere deep in the Gobi expanse. Alina had spent the last 3 months searching for valuable salvage on this desert planet. The human colony of New Haven, established 15 years ago on the planet's northern continent, paid well for recovered technology. As a former military engineer turned independent salvage specialist, she had the skills and equipment necessary to survive in the harsh wastelands where most treasure hunters perished. But this signal was different. It wasn't the random electromagnetic noise of crashed satellites or abandoned mining equipment. This had structure, purpose, intelligence behind it. Elena's enhanced hearing implants, military-grade modifications from her service years, picked up harmonics that standard equipment would miss. She crested a massive dune and froze. Before her, partially buried in centuries of accumulated sand, lay the impossible. The sleek, angular hull of a starship rose from the desert like the skeleton of some ancient leviathan. But this wasn't just any vessel. Alina recognized the distinctive triple-hull design from historical archives. "Holy stars," she whispered, her voice echoing in her helmet. The UHS Prometheus. The legendary colony ship had vanished 200 years ago during humanity's first major expansion into deep space, carrying 20,000 colonists and the most advanced technology of its era. The Prometheus had simply disappeared during what should have been a routine hyperspace jump. Rescue expeditions found nothing. Insurance companies paid out billions. The loss became humanity's greatest unsolved mystery. Yet here it was, impossibly intact despite its violent arrival on this world. The hull showed no signs of the catastrophic damage that should have resulted from an uncontrolled atmospheric entry. Instead, it gleamed with an opalescent sheen that seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal. Alina activated her personal recorder and began documenting her approach. The signal that had led her here grew stronger with each step, resolving into distinct patterns that her neural implants translated into almost recognizable speech. Almost, but not quite. The cadence was wrong, the tonal structures unlike any human language. As she reached the ship's perimeter, Alina noticed something that made her training kick into high alert mode. The sand around the vessel wasn't random wind-blown accumulation. It formed precise geometric patterns, spirals and fractals that extended outward in mathematically perfect progressions. No natural process could create such formations. Her boots made no sound on the ship's hull as she climbed toward what appeared to be an access port. The metal beneath her feet hummed with barely contained energy, vibrations that seemed to resonate with her very bones. Whatever powered this ship had been running for 2 centuries without maintenance or refueling. The access port opened before she could reach for it, revealing a corridor bathed in soft blue light. The air that escaped carried impossible scents. Rain on summer grass, ocean spray, the warmth of a campfire under starlight, sense of Earth. A world Alina had never seen but somehow recognized in her genetic memory. Alina hesitated at the threshold. Every survival instinct screamed warnings about entering an unknown alien environment. But her curiosity, the driving force that had led her from military service to salvage work, proved stronger than caution. She stepped inside. The corridor stretched in both directions, curving gently out of sight. The walls pulsed with bioluminescent patterns that seemed to respond to her presence, brightening and shifting as she moved. Alina removed her helmet, trusting her atmospheric scanner's indication of breathable air. The taste was clean, slightly metallic, with an undertone of ozone. "Hello," she called out experimentally. Her voice echoed strangely, as if the ship itself was listening. The response came not as sound, but as direct neural input through her implants. A cascade of information and emotion that nearly overwhelmed her enhanced sensory processes. Joy, relief, desperate hope, and underneath it all, an alien intelligence, vast and ancient beyond human comprehension. Finally, the voice said, speaking directly into her mind, "We have been waiting so long for one of your kind to find us." Alina's hand instinctively moved to the plasma pistol at her hip, though she doubted it would be effective against a consciousness that existed in the ship's systems. "Who are you? What happened to the colonists?" "We are the ethereal collective. What you call the colonists are safe, preserved, changed. But first, you must understand. Your ship did not crash here by accident. It was guided, transformed, made into something greater than either of our species could achieve alone." The corridor began to move around Alina, or perhaps she was moving and didn't realize it. The disorientation was mild, almost pleasant, like floating in warm water. When stability returned, she stood in what could only be the ship's bridge. But it was unlike any bridge from historical records. The traditional command stations had been replaced by organic-looking pods that pulsed with the same bioluminescent patterns as the walls. Inside, each pod floated a human figure, eyes closed, expression peaceful. Life support readings on nearby displays showed all vital signs as optimal. "The colonists," Alina breathed. "They're alive, more than alive, evolved when your ship encountered. Our damaged vessel in deep space, we were dying. Our physical forms had been destroyed in a war that spans galaxies. Only our consciousness remained, seeking refuge, seeking a way to survive. Your people offered us shelter, not knowing what we were." Alina approached the nearest pod. The woman inside appeared to be in her 30s, with Asian features and the distinctive uniform of a senior navigation officer. According to the nameplate, this was Commander Sarah Chen, the Prometheus's second in command. "What did you do to them?" "We merged, not their minds. We would never violate such sanctity. But their bodies became our vessels, while their consciousness expanded into our network. They experience existence as we do now, unbound by physical limitations, exploring realities beyond your current understanding. In return, we protect and preserve them while using human ingenuity to repair our damaged essence." The implications staggered Alina. "You created some kind of symbiotic relationship, yes, and together we have accomplished the impossible. Your ship's engines now operate on principles that transcend physics as either species understood them. We can fold space, manipulate time, even phase between dimensions. But there is danger approaching." The ship's main display activated, showing long-range sensor data. 3 vessels were approaching Kepler-4 for 2b, their energy signatures indicating military-grade hardware and hostile intent. Alina recognized the configuration immediately. Titan Corporation dreadnoughts, the most powerful, privately owned warships in human space. "Scavenger fleet," Alina said grimly. "They must have detected your energy signature from orbit." "More than scavengers. We have been monitoring their communications. They know what we are, what we represent. They come not for salvage, but for conquest. They would enslave us, use our abilities to dominate other species, turn our gift into a weapon of oppression. Alina studied the tactical display. 3 dreadnoughts against a single, albeit incredibly advanced, colony ship. The odds were not encouraging. What do you need from me? Choice. Free will is sacred to both our species. We could defend ourselves alone, but victory would require us to become the very thing we fled from in our original galaxy. We would have to kill. We would rather die than become destroyers again, and with human help. With a human partner, one who understands both warfare and diplomacy, we could disable their ships without loss of life. We could demonstrate that cooperation yields greater rewards than conquest. But the choice must be yours, Alina Rodriguez. You could take your small salvage ship and flee. These corporate warriors would never catch you. Alina looked at the pods containing the colonists, then at the approaching threat on the display. Her entire life had been defined by impossible choices. Military service during the Outer Rim conflicts, where she'd seen corporations exploit colonies for profit while soldiers paid the price. The decision to leave military service when orders conflicted with her moral code. The choice to become a salvage specialist rather than work for the same corporations she'd fought against. Now she faced perhaps the most important decision of her life: personal safety versus standing with refugees from an interstellar war. Individual survival versus protecting 20,000 humans who had found something unprecedented in their merged existence with an alien collective. "Tell me about your abilities," Alina said, moving to what appeared to be a command station that was reshaping itself to accommodate human hands. "What can we do together?" The ship's systems responded to her touch as if they had been waiting. Centuries for her specifically. Information flowed through her neural implants. Not the overwhelming flood of first contact, but a steady stream of possibilities. The Prometheus could phase partially out of normal space, making it difficult to target with conventional weapons. Its engines could generate gravitational anomalies that would disable attacking vessels without destroying them. Most importantly, its communication systems could broadcast on frequencies that would bypass any jamming and reach every human in the approaching fleet. The corporate leaders expect resistance, expect a battle they can win through superior firepower. They do not expect negotiation, diplomacy, an offer of partnership. Your species' greatest strength has always been its ability to find common ground with those who were once enemies. Elena's fingers danced over the adaptive controls as the ship began powering up systems that had waited 2 centuries to be fully activated. Then let's give them something they've never seen before. A human warship that prefers making friends to making graves. The ethereal collective's harmonious laughter filled her mind as Alina Rodriguez, former military engineer turned salvage specialist, became something entirely new. The first human ambassador to an alien species, and the bridge between 2 civilizations that could accomplish together what neither could achieve alone. Outside, the red sands of Kepler-4 for 2b began to shift and swirl as ancient engines whispered secrets that would reshape humanity's place among the stars. The Titan Corporation dreadnoughts descended through Kepler-4 for 2b's atmosphere like falling stars, their massive hulls cutting through the thin air with predatory grace. Alina Rodriguez watched their approach from the Prometheus's transformed bridge, her hands steady on controls that seemed to anticipate her thoughts. 3 ships, approximately 1,500 crew members each, she reported to the ethereal collective. Admiral Marcus Kane, commanding the lead vessel. "I know him from the Outer Rim conflicts. He's ruthless, but not stupid. Give him a better option than conquest, and he might take it." We sense deception in their communications. The collective responded through a neural link. They speak of salvage rights and corporate claims, but their weapons systems are charging for immediate battle. Alina activated the Prometheus's external sensors, watching as the 3 dreadnoughts took up attack positions around their location. The ships were magnificent examples of human engineering, bristling with plasma cannons and missile arrays that could reduce a small moon to rubble. Under normal circumstances, facing such overwhelming firepower would be suicide. But the Prometheus was no longer bound by normal circumstances. "Open a channel," Alina commanded. The ship's communication system reached out across space, piercing through the corporation's jamming attempts as easily as light through glass. Admiral Kane's weathered face appeared on the main display, his expression shifting from surprise to calculation. "Well, I'll be damned. Alina Rodriguez. Last I heard, you'd gone independent after that unfortunate incident with the Vega Station massacre." Admiral Alina replied coldly, "Still covering up corporate war crimes, I see. What brings Titan's finest to this empty stretch of desert?" Kane's laugh was humorless, empty. "My sensors indicate you're sitting inside the most powerful energy source in this sector, the UHS Prometheus, unless I miss my guess. 200 years lost, and here you are, first to claim salvage rights. This ship doesn't belong to Titan Corporation. Everything belongs to someone, Rodriguez, and salvage law is clear. First corporate. Claim trumps individual recovery." Kane's expression hardened. "Stand down and withdraw. My archaeologists will handle the recovery. You'll be compensated fairly for the discovery." Alina felt the collective's presence in her mind, vast and patient, waiting for her decision. Around her, the bridge displays showed the true extent of the ship's capabilities. Weapons that could exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Shields that operated by shifting the vessel partially out of phase with reality. Engines that could manipulate the fundamental forces of the universe. With such power, she could destroy all 3 dreadnoughts in minutes. But that would make her no different from the corporate raiders she despised. "Counteroffer, Admiral," Alina said, her voice carrying new authority. "Stand down your weapons and prepare to receive diplomatic representatives. What you're looking at isn't salvage. It's the first joint human-alien embassy in our species' history." Kane's face showed genuine surprise. "Alien? Rodriguez, space madness is a serious condition. You need medical attention." In response, Alina allowed the collective to manifest more directly through the ship's systems. The Prometheus began to phase in and out of visible reality, its hull becoming translucent, then solid, then translucent again. Patterns of light flowed across its surface in mathematical progressions that hurt the eyes to follow directly. "Greetings, Admiral Marcus Kane," the collective spoke. Their harmonious voice broadcast directly to the dreadnought's bridges. "We are the ethereal collective, refugees from the galactic core conflicts. We offer partnership, not conquest. Wisdom, not war." The effect on Kane was immediate and profound. His face went pale as his mind struggled to process contact with an intelligence fundamentally different from human consciousness. What are you?" "Survivors," Alina answered. "Just like the colonists you're threatening to hand over to corporate dissection." The Prometheus encountered the collective's damaged vessel 200 years ago. Instead of fighting or fleeing, they chose to merge. Human ingenuity combined with alien wisdom, it saved both species. Kane recovered quickly, his military training reasserting control, fascinating and highly valuable. Titan Xenobiology Division will want to study this phenomenon extensively. Think of the applications: consciousness transfer, technological advancement, military applications. We will not become weapons, the collective stated firmly. We have seen where that path leads. Entire civilizations consumed by their own creations. We offer alliance, not enslavement. Alina watched Kane's face as he processed the implications. She could see the moment when greed overcame caution, when the potential profits outweighed the risks. It was the same expression she'd seen during the Vega Station incident, when corporate interests had demanded the colony be stripped of resources, regardless of civilian casualties. "I'm sorry, Rodriguez," Kane said, though his tone suggested otherwise. "But first contact is too important to leave in the hands of a salvage operator. Titan Corporation will ensure proper protocols are followed. Surrender the vessel, or we'll take it by force." The transmission ended, and Alina felt the collective's sadness wash over her like a cold wave. "We had hoped for better from your species, but we understand. Fear often masquerades as aggression." Among intelligent beings, Elena's hands moved over the controls with growing confidence. Not all of us, though. Some of us learned that the best victories come from turning enemies into allies. The first salvo from the dreadnoughts arrived as concentrated plasma beams that should have vaporized the Prometheus instantly. Instead, they passed through the ship as if it were made of air, striking the sand behind it with violent flashes. Asterisk, asterisk. Kane's voice crackled over the emergency channel. "What the hell? All weapons, full spread. Target the entire area." The desert erupted in fire as hundreds of plasma bolts and missiles struck where the Prometheus had been moments before. But the ship phased between dimensions, existing in a space just adjacent to normal reality. Alina could see the attacks coming, could feel the collective calculating optimal response patterns. "My turn," she whispered, engaging the ship's defensive systems. Instead of returning fire, the Prometheus generated localized gravitational anomalies around each dreadnought. The massive warships found themselves caught in artificial gravity wells that made maneuvering impossible while leaving their life support and communications systems untouched. "We disable, not destroy," the collective reminded her. "There has been enough death." Alina opened a channel to all three ships simultaneously. "Admiral, your vessels are caught in gravity fields that will hold them stable but harmless. No one needs to die today. Let me show you what real cooperation can accomplish." She gestured, and the Prometheus's main display began broadcasting to all three ships. The screen showed the interior of the vessel, the pods containing the colonists in their enhanced existence, the flowing harmony of human and alien consciousness. Working together, Commander Sarah Chun's image appeared next to Elena's, her consciousness temporarily manifesting through the ship's communication systems. "Marcus," she said, her voice carrying warmth that transcended the electronic medium. "It's been a long time." Kane's voice was stunned. "Sarah, but you disappeared with the Prometheus 2 centuries ago. You should be dead." "Not dead, transformed. We exist in ways we never imagined possible. We've seen the birth of stars, touched the edges of other galaxies, learned truths about consciousness that could revolutionize both species." Sarah's image smiled with infinite compassion. "And we've been waiting for humanity to find us, to join us in this incredible journey." Alina seized the moment. "This is what first contact should look like, Admiral. Not conquest or exploitation, but partnership. The collective has knowledge that could solve humanity's energy crisis. cure diseases we thought incurable, even extend human consciousness beyond the limitations of single lifetimes. We offer freely what others would take by force, the collective added, but only to those who approach with open hearts and peaceful intentions. Alina watched Kane's face as he struggled with the decision. Around him, his bridge crew listened with growing wonder as Sarah Chen described the expanded existence she and the other colonists had discovered. The fear in their expressions gradually gave way to curiosity, then to hope. "What would you need from us?" Kane finally asked. "Safe passage to human space," Alina replied. "Protection while we establish formal diplomatic contact with Earth's government. And most importantly, proof that humanity has grown beyond the need to turn every new discovery into a weapon." Kane was quiet for a long moment. Alina could see the battle playing out behind his eyes. Corporate loyalty warring with the unprecedented opportunity before him. Finally, he activated his command console. "All ships, stand down to yellow alert. Disable weapons and prepare to escort our ... guests ... to human space." He looked directly at Alina. "Rodriguez, you've just made first contact with an alien species. That makes you the most important person in human history." Alina felt the collective's joy resonating through the ship's systems, harmonizing with her own sense of accomplishment. Not just first contact, Admiral. First alliance. As the Prometheus phased back into normal space, its exotic engines singing with power, Alina Rodriguez realized her life as a simple salvage specialist was over. She was now humanity's first ambassador to another species, the bridge between two civilizations that had found in each other the key to unlocking their greatest potential. The whispering engines of the ancient ship carried more than alien voices now. They carried the promise of a future where humans and aliens worked together to explore the infinite possibilities that lay among the stars, proving once again that humanity's greatest strength was not its weapons, but its willingness to extend a hand in friendship to those who had once been strangers. Behind them, the red sands of Kepler-4, to be settled back into peaceful patterns, no longer holding secrets, but marking the beginning of a new age of cooperation between the stars. Asterisk.